The Royal Observatory fell silent as Queen Helena watched the impossible scene unfold on the massive viewing screen. 3 towering alien figures stood in the center of the diplomatic chamber below, their crystalline bodies shimmering with an otherworldly light that made the human delegates step back instinctively. Each alien sister possessed the same ethereal beauty, yet their individual auras pulsed with distinct energy patterns that seemed to evaluate every human present. Captain Marcus Stone positioned himself 2 steps behind the Queen's chair, his trained eyes scanning the room below while monitoring her reaction. 20 years of Royal Guard service had taught him to read the subtle shifts in her posture, and right now, every muscle in the Queen's body had gone rigid. "They're called the Valthera," Dr. Elizabeth Warren whispered from her position at the control console. "According to their transmission, they've traveled across galaxies to find what they term a resonant partner from our species." The eldest sister, her form radiating silver light, stepped forward and spoke in perfect English that somehow bypassed normal sound waves and resonated directly in their minds. "We have observed your kind for 7 rotations. One among you carries the frequency we seek." Queen Helena's breathing quickened almost imperceptibly, but Marcus caught the change immediately. His hand moved closer to his sidearm, not from any immediate threat, but from pure protective instinct. The middle sister, glowing with golden energy, extended what appeared to be a scanning device. "The Chosen will accompany us to preserve the harmony between our peoples. This is not negotiation. This is cosmic necessity." Below in the chamber, Ambassador Richards stepped forward with diplomatic confidence. "Your Excellencies, surely we can discuss the terms of such an arrangement. Our people don't typically—" The youngest sister, radiating deep violet light, turned her attention to Richards with such intensity that he stopped mid-sentence and took several steps backward. "Terms are irrelevant. The resonance exists or it does not. We will identify the carrier now." Marcus watched as the 3 aliens moved in perfect synchronization, their scanning devices creating a web of energy that swept across every human in the chamber. Government officials, scientists, and security personnel all stood frozen as the alien technology evaluated them on some unknowable criteria. Queen Helena gripped the armrests of her chair. "Stone, if they attempt to take anyone by force, already considered, Your Majesty," Marcus replied quietly. "Emergency protocols are standing by." The Golden Sister suddenly stopped her scanning and looked directly upward, her gaze somehow penetrating the walls and floors between the chamber and the Royal Observatory. "The resonance is not among these. It emanates from above." All 3 aliens turned their attention toward the observatory, their combined energy creating a visible beam that pierced through the building structure as if it didn't exist. Marcus immediately stepped between the Queen and the viewing screen, his hand now resting on his weapon. "Your Majesty, we need to evacuate immediately," he said with controlled urgency. But Queen Helena remained seated, her eyes fixed on the screen as the 3 sisters began moving toward the exit of the chamber below. "They're coming here, aren't they?" Dr. Crore. Warren's fingers flew across her console, trying to activate security barriers and communication jammers, but every system seemed to respond sluggishly, as if the alien presence was interfering with human technology. The Silver Sister's voice echoed in their minds again. "The carrier resides in the highest chamber. We approach now." Marcus activated his emergency communicator. "Alpha Team to Observatory. Immediate extraction protocol code 7. The response came back filled with static. "Captain, we're experiencing system-wide interference. All elevators are non-responsive, and the stairwell access doors have sealed automatically." Queen Helena stood slowly, her royal composure intact, despite the unprecedented situation. "It seems they've ensured we can't run, Captain Stone." The building structure began to hum with strange harmonics as the 3 alien sisters ascended through it, their energy signatures growing stronger with each passing moment. Marcus could feel the vibration through his boots, and he noticed that the Queen's jewelry was beginning to resonate with the same frequency. "The scanning they're doing, Dr. Well," Warren said with growing alarm. "It's not just identifying someone, it's calling to them. Whatever resonance they're detecting, it's responding to their presence." Marcus felt a chill of realization. The Queen's breathing had synchronized with the alien harmonics, and her eyes now held a distant quality he'd never seen before. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor outside the observatory. Queen Helena turned to face the door with an expression that mixed resignation and curiosity. 23 years I've ruled this kingdom, Stone. I never imagined my greatest decision would be made for me by beings from another world. The footsteps stopped directly outside. The door's security lock began glowing with the same tricolored light as the alien sisters. Marcus drew his weapon and positioned himself in front of the Queen. Your Majesty, whatever happens next, my duty remains unchanged. The lock disintegrated, and the door swung open to reveal 3 towering figures whose presence filled the room with impossible light and cosmic authority. The Silver Sisters spoke directly into their minds. We have found our resonant partner. All 3 aliens looked directly at Queen Helena, whose royal jewelry now pulsed in perfect harmony with their energy signatures. The moment had arrived, and there would be no escape from destiny. The eldest sister stepped into the observatory, her crystalline form reflecting the soft glow of the viewing screens while casting prismatic patterns across the walls. Captain Marcus Stone held his position between the alien and Queen Helena, but his weapon felt insignificant against beings who had traveled between stars. I am Larolith, the Silver Sister communicated directly into their minds. These are my siblings, Orlin of the Golden Frequency and Vespera of the Violet Resonance. We require your cooperation. Queen Helena stepped around Marcus, ignoring his protective gesture. I am Queen Helena Richmond, sovereign of this realm. State your intentions plainly. The 3 sisters exchanged glances that seemed to communicate volumes in milliseconds. Orlin, the Golden Sister, extended her hand toward a chair that materialized from thin air, its surface matching the alien technology perfectly. Your physiology contains a genetic marker that appears in 1 of every 10 million of your species, Orlin explained. This marker allows for neural bridging between our civilizations. Without it, our peoples cannot achieve peaceful coexistence. Dr. Warren stepped forward cautiously, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. Neural bridging? You're talking about some form of telepathic connection? Vespera, the youngest sister with violet energy, nodded slowly. Your species stands at a crossroads. Either you learn to communicate as we do, or you remain isolated and eventually face extinction when other, less benevolent species arrive. Marcus kept his weapon drawn but lowered. And you need the Queen specifically? The marker we detect carries with it natural leadership qualities, Lyreleth responded. The individual must be capable of representing their entire species in the bridging process. Your Queen possesses both the genetic requirement and the social authority necessary. Queen Helena studied each sister carefully. What exactly does this bridging process entail? The 3 aliens moved in perfect synchronization, their forms shifting slightly as they prepared to demonstrate. Orlin placed her crystalline hand near her own temple, and suddenly, vivid images filled the air around them. The images showed vast cosmic civilizations connected through instant thought transmission, planets working in harmony across impossible distances, and conflicts resolved through shared consciousness rather than violence. But they also showed the aftermath of species that refused the bridging process, their worlds dark and abandoned. The process requires temporary consciousness merging, the Spira explained as the images faded. Your mind would touch ours, learning our communication methods while teaching us yours. The knowledge would then be transmitted to both our species simultaneously. Dr. Warren's eyes widened with understanding. You're talking about creating a permanent telepathic network between humans and your people. Among others, Lyreleth confirmed, 17 species have already joined the Harmonic Collective. Each bridging strengthens the whole. Marcus stepped closer to the Queen. Your Majesty, the risks are completely unknown. We have no understanding of what this could do to you or to our people. Queen Helena nodded thoughtfully, but her jewelry continued pulsing in rhythm with the alien energies. And if I refuse? The 3 sisters' energy dimmed slightly, and their expressions, alien though they were, conveyed genuine sadness. Then we depart, and your species faces the void alone, Orland said quietly. Within 50 of your years, the Destructors will arrive. They show no mercy to isolated civilizations. Destructors? Doctor, Warren asked. Vespera created new images in the air, showing massive dark ships that consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing but empty space behind. They harvest resources from isolated species. Only those within the harmonic collective are protected by our combined strength. Queen Helena walked to the viewing screen and looked down at the diplomatic chamber, where human officials waited anxiously for word from above. How long would this bridging process take? 7 of your hours for initial connection, Lorelith replied. Your consciousness would remain intact, but expanded. You would retain all your memories and personality, while gaining the ability to communicate across any distance with any member of the collective. Marcus holstered his weapon, recognizing that force was useless here. Your Majesty, this decision affects every human on Earth. Perhaps the Global Council should. The genetic marker is present now. In this moment, Vespera interrupted. The harmonic window opens only during specific cosmic alignments. We cannot wait for your political processes. Queen Helena turned back to face the 3 sisters. If I agree to this, what guarantees do I have that my people will truly benefit? Orlin approached the Queen directly, her golden energy creating a warm, almost comforting presence. Experience the connection briefly. Judge for yourself. Before anyone could object, the Golden Sister extended her crystalline hand toward Queen Helena's forehead. The moment they made contact, the Queen's eyes filled with the same golden light, and her expression transformed into one of wonder. Through the connection, everyone in the room could sense fragments of what the Queen was experiencing. Vast networks of consciousness spanning galaxies, civilizations sharing knowledge and resources freely. Conflicts resolved through understanding rather than war. The connection lasted only seconds, but when it ended, Queen Helena's face had changed completely. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but her expression held joy and certainty. I understand now, she whispered. This isn't about losing our humanity. It's about becoming more human than we've ever been able to be alone. Marcus felt his heart sink as he recognized the decision in her voice. The 3 sisters moved closer, their combined energy beginning to envelop the entire observatory. Queen Helena sat in the materialized chair, her royal composure intact, despite the magnitude of what she was about to experience. Captain Stone, Dr. Warren, you will serve as witnesses to this moment. Record everything for posterity. Marcus activated his emergency recorder while Dr. Warren began documenting readings on every instrument available. The 3 alien sisters positioned themselves in a triangle around the Queen, their different energy signatures creating a complex pattern of light that filled the observatory. Lyra Leith spoke in her mind voice to everyone present. The bridging process will appear intense to your eyes, but Queen Helena will experience no pain. Her consciousness will expand gradually to prevent psychological trauma. What will happen to her physically? Dr. Warren asked, her scientific training demanding specifics even in this impossible situation. Orlin gestured toward the Queen, whose jewelry had now synchronized completely with their alien frequencies. Her neural pathways will adapt to accommodate broader spectrum communication. What you call telepathy is simply another sense, like sight or hearing. Queen Helena looked directly at Marcus Stone. I need you to understand something. This choice isn't just about saving humanity from future threats. In that brief connection, I saw what we could become. Imagine a world where misunderstandings end instantly because thoughts can be shared directly, where loneliness becomes impossible because every person can feel the support of the collective consciousness. Marcus struggled with his duty to protect her versus his duty to respect her decisions as sovereign. Your Majesty, once this process begins, there may be no reversal. Vespera nodded solemnly. This is correct. The neural adaptations are permanent. However, the Queen would retain the ability to limit her connections. She would not lose her individual identity or private thoughts. Privacy remains? Dr. Warren asked urgently. Absolutely essential, Lyraleth confirmed. The collective shares knowledge and emotional support, but personal memories and private thoughts remain individual property. Forced mental intrusion is the gravest crime in our civilization. Queen Helena took a deep breath and placed her hands on the armrests of the alien chair. Then I formally consent to this bridging process, not just as queen of this realm, but as a representative of humanity itself. The three sisters began to glow more intensely, their energy creating visible streams of light that connected to various points around Queen Helena's head. She closed her eyes as the process began, and her expression immediately became serene. Marcus watched the readings on Dr. Warren's instruments as they spiked beyond normal ranges, then gradually stabilized at new baselines. The Queen's vital signs remained strong, but her brain activity showed patterns unlike anything in medical literature. "She's experiencing massive neural growth," Dr. Warren whispered in amazement. "It's like watching evolution happen in real time." Through the alien connection, fragments of sensation reached both observers. They could feel echoes of vast cosmic awareness, the presence of countless other consciousness across the galaxy, and an overwhelming sense of belonging to something greater than individual existence. The process continued for what felt like hours, but registered as only minutes on their instruments. Queen Helena's breathing remained steady, and occasionally, a smile would cross her face as she encountered some new aspect of the collective consciousness. Suddenly her eyes opened, but they now held depths that seemed to contain starlight. When she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that resonated with the alien sisters. "I can feel them all," she said with wonder. "Billions of conscious beings across thousands of worlds, each unique but connected through understanding and mutual support." Lyrolith stepped back as the energy streams faded. "The primary bridging is complete. Queen Helena now carries the ability to establish similar connections with others of your species who possess compatible neural structures." Queen Helena stood from the chair and looked at Marcus and Dr. Warren with eyes that seemed to see far more than before. "This isn't an ending, my friends. It's the beginning of humanity's true potential." Marcus felt an odd sensation in his mind, a gentle presence that he immediately recognized as the Queen. Her voice spoke directly into his thoughts, warm and familiar but carried across impossible distances. "I can still connect with you, Stone, even without the genetic marker. The relationship between us allows for limited bridging." Dr. Warren gasped as she experienced the same phenomenon. "Your Majesty, how is this possible?" Orlin explained while the other sisters began preparing for departure. "Emotional bonds create neural resonances that can be enhanced through the bridging process. Queen Helena can now facilitate connections between humans who have strong relationships." The implications staggered Marcus as he realized the Queen could potentially connect the entire human race through chains of emotional relationships and trust. But more immediately, he felt an unprecedented sense of peace and connection that he had never experienced in his solitary existence. Queen Helena walked to the viewing screen and looked down at the diplomats still waiting below. With her new abilities, she could sense their anxiety, their hopes, and their fears as clearly as if they had spoken aloud. "They're afraid," she said simply. "But they're also ready for something greater than what we've been." The building's communication systems suddenly activated on their own, connecting to every human settlement on Earth simultaneously. Queen Helena's next words would reach every person on the planet directly. Queen Helena placed her hand on the viewing screen, and through her enhanced abilities, she could sense the attention of every human on Earth, focusing on her words. The alien sisters stood silently behind her, their energy signatures now harmonizing with her own in ways that created new possibilities for communication. "My fellow humans," she began, her voice carrying through both technological and telepathic channels simultaneously. "Today, we stand at the threshold of our species' greatest transformation." Marcus watched the global communication feeds as people everywhere stopped their activities to listen. In cities, in remote villages, on ships at sea, and in space stations, every human consciousness was connected to this moment. "I have undergone a process that has expanded my awareness beyond anything our species has previously experienced," Queen Helena continued. "Through this expansion, I have seen the universe as it truly is, filled with conscious beings working together across distances that once seemed impossible to bridge." Dr. Warren monitored the readings as the Queen spoke, noting how her brain patterns were somehow synchronizing with communication networks across the planet. The bridging process was allowing her to connect with humanity itself as a collective entity. Lyroleth approached the viewing screen and gestured toward the diplomatic chamber below. "The transformation your Queen has experienced can be shared with others who possess compatible neural markers. We estimate approximately 50,000 humans worldwide carry the necessary genetic structure." Queen Helena nodded, her enhanced awareness allowing her to sense the presence of these individuals scattered across the globe. "I can feel them," she said with growing excitement. "People in every nation who carry the same potential for expanded consciousness." Oralyn stepped forward, her golden energy creating patterns that somehow translated into visual representations on screens worldwide. These individuals can undergo the same bridging process, creating a network of enhanced humans who can facilitate communication and understanding between your species and the Galactic Collective. Marcus felt a complex mix of emotions as he realized the magnitude of what was occurring. The Queen wasn't just changed herself. She was becoming the first node in a network that could transform all of human civilization. "Your Majesty," he said quietly, "what does this mean for traditional human relationships in society?" Queen Helena turned to him with eyes that sparkled with cosmic awareness but retained all the warmth he had always known. "It means that understanding between people becomes as simple as choosing to connect. But it also means that those who prefer solitude can maintain it with absolute respect from others." Vespera created new images in the air, showing human civilization as it could become with enhanced communication abilities. Cities where conflict resolution happened through shared understanding, scientific research accelerated by direct knowledge transfer, and artistic expression enhanced by the ability to share creative visions directly from mind to mind. "The choice belongs to each individual," Vespera explained. "Those with the genetic marker can choose bridging. Those without it can request enhancement through existing connections with bridged individuals. And those who prefer to remain unchanged are honored and protected by the collective." Dr. Warren studied the projections with scientific fascination. This could eliminate most forms of human conflict within a generation. Queen Helena nodded. "But more than that, it could help us solve problems that have seemed impossible when we could only work with individual consciousness. Climate change, resource distribution, space exploration, all become manageable when minds can work together directly." The three alien sisters began to glow more brightly, indicating their preparation for departure. Lyrolith approached Queen Helena one final time. "The bridging network will grow organically as you connect with others. We will return in one rotation of your planet to assess the progress and offer additional guidance if needed." Marcus realized this was goodbye to the Queen as he had known her, even though she remained physically present. "Your Majesty, are you still yourself?" Queen Helena smiled with the same expression he had protected for 20 years, but enhanced by depths of wisdom that seemed to contain the experiences of countless worlds. "I am more myself than I have ever been, Stone, but I am also connected to something infinitely larger and more beautiful than individual existence could provide." She reached out and took his hand, and through the contact he felt a brief sensation of the cosmic awareness she now possessed. For just a moment, he could sense the presence of billions of conscious beings across the galaxy, all working together in harmony while maintaining their individual identities. The sensation was so overwhelming and beautiful that tears came to his eyes. "That is what awaits all of us who choose it," Queen Helena said gently. "Not the loss of self, but the discovery of what self truly means when connected to the greater whole." The three alien sisters began moving toward the observatory's walls, which somehow became permeable to their passage. Before departing, Oralyn turned back to address all three humans. "Guard your queen well during the adjustment period. The first weeks of bridged consciousness can be overwhelming, as the mind learns to filter and manage expanded awareness." Marcus immediately stepped closer to Queen Helena. "My duty remains unchanged, Your Majesty. I will protect you through whatever comes next." Queen Helena looked at him with gratitude and affection. "You may find, Stone, that protecting someone with cosmic awareness presents unique challenges." As the alien sisters departed, passing through solid matter as if it were air, Queen Helena began receiving mental communications from the 50,000 humans worldwide who carried the genetic marker. Each connection brought new perspectives, new knowledge, and new possibilities for human advancement. The age of isolated human consciousness was ending, and the era of coordinated human potential was beginning. The transformation of Earth's greatest queen had become the transformation of humanity itself. In the days following the alien sisters' departure, Queen Helena's royal duties transformed into something unprecedented in human history. She had established temporary residence in the observatory, which had been converted into a coordination center for the emerging global consciousness network. Captain Marcus Stone had adapted his protective protocols to account for his queen's new abilities, though he often found himself guarding someone who could sense threats from continents away. Dr. Bearson, Elizabeth Warren, had become the chief scientific advisor for what governments worldwide were calling the Consciousness Integration Project. Your Majesty, we're receiving communication requests from leaders of every major nation. Dr. Warren reported, reviewing data streams that flowed across multiple screens. They want to understand the implications of the bridging network. Queen Helena sat in a specially designed chair that interfaced with both human technology and the alien gifted enhancement systems. Her awareness expanded across the globe, where she could sense the 50,000 individuals with genetic markers, many of whom were beginning to experience spontaneous awakening as their latent abilities activated in response to her presence in the network. The awakening is accelerating, she said, her voice carrying harmonics that made both Marcus and Dr. Warren feel momentarily connected to her expanded consciousness. People in Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Lagos, and Stockholm are all simultaneously beginning to experience enhanced awareness. Marcus monitored security feeds from around the world, watching as individuals in various locations began displaying behaviors that indicated newly activated telepathic abilities. Are they experiencing the same transformation you did? Queen Helena shook her head gently. Each person's bridging process is unique to their individual consciousness structure. Some are becoming natural translators between different forms of awareness. Others are developing abilities to facilitate healing through shared emotional connection. A few are manifesting talents for technological interface that surpass anything we previously thought possible. Dr. Warren pulled up a global map with points of light marking each awakening individual. The pattern isn't random. They're distributed in a way that creates optimal network coverage across all populated areas. The alien sisters planned this carefully, Queen Helena confirmed. They've been observing humanity for generations, waiting for the right moment when our species had developed enough social complexity to handle expanded consciousness without losing individual identity. A priority communication signal interrupted their conversation. On the main screen, President Martinez of the Americas Union appeared, flanked by other world leaders in a joint session. Your Majesty, President Martinez began, we need to understand the long-term implications of what you've initiated. Our populations are experiencing phenomena that our scientists cannot explain. Queen Helena's enhanced awareness allowed her to sense the mixture of fear and hope radiating from the assembled leaders. President Martinez, distinguished colleagues, what you're witnessing is the next phase of human evolution, but it's a choice, not an imposition. Prime Minister Chen of the Asian Federation leaned forward. Our reports indicate that people are beginning to communicate across vast distances without technology. Some are claiming to share memories and experiences directly. How do we maintain social order during such unprecedented changes? Through her connection to the awakening individuals worldwide, Queen Helena could feel their experiences in real time. A young scientist in Mumbai was solving complex equations by temporarily sharing consciousness with researchers in Geneva. A diplomat in Cairo was resolving a century-old territorial dispute by helping opposing parties experience each other's perspectives directly. Social order isn't being disrupted, Queen Helena explained. It's being enhanced through understanding. When people can share experiences and emotions directly, deception becomes nearly impossible, and empathy becomes automatic. Chancellor Weber of the European Coalition expressed the concern weighing on many minds. But what about privacy? Individual autonomy? The rights we've built our civilizations upon? Marcus watched as Queen Helena's expression became particularly gentle, recognizing this as the core fear that could either enable or prevent humanity's successful transformation. The bridging process enhances these rights rather than diminishing them, Queen Helena replied. In the expanded consciousness network, privacy becomes more protected because everyone understands its value intimately. Personal boundaries are respected absolutely because violation of individual autonomy creates disharmony in the collective. Dr. Warren added her scientific perspective. Our monitoring indicates that bridged individuals are actually displaying increased respect for personal space and individual choice. The enhanced empathy makes them more sensitive to others' needs, not less. Secretary Hassan of the African Alliance raised another concern. What happens to those who choose not to participate? Will they become second-class citizens in this new world? Queen Helena's awareness reached out to touch the minds of unbridged humans around the world, sensing their fears and hopes with equal clarity. Those who choose to remain unchanged are valued equally in the collective consciousness. In fact, their perspectives become more precious because they provide essential grounding and alternative viewpoints that prevent groupthink. Additionally, she continued, the bridged individuals find that their enhanced empathy makes them more protective of unbridged humans, not less accepting. Understanding consciousness expansion makes one appreciate the beauty of unenhanced human experience. President Martinez asked the question that summarized all their concerns. Your Majesty, in your assessment, will this transformation ultimately benefit humanity? Or have we opened a door that should have remained closed? Queen Helena stood and moved to the viewing screen, her enhanced awareness allowing her to simultaneously monitor the consciousness network, assess global conditions, and maintain full focus on the diplomatic discussion. Distinguished leaders, in the past 72 hours, I have experienced 15 major international conflicts dissolving through enhanced understanding between opposing parties. I have witnessed scientific breakthroughs that would have taken decades occurring in hours through collaborative consciousness. I have felt the loneliness of isolation disappearing for millions of people who thought they would never find true connection. She paused, allowing her words to resonate before continuing. But most importantly, I have seen that this transformation preserves and enhances everything that makes us human while removing the barriers that prevent us from reaching our true potential. Marcus felt a profound sense of pride watching his queen navigate the most important diplomatic moment in human history with wisdom that transcended anything possible through individual consciousness alone. The age of human transformation had truly begun, and Queen Helena was guiding it with unparalleled grace.